Deborra-Lee Furness has filed for divorce from Hugh Jackman nearly 2 years after announcing their separation.
Yeah, for more, we're joined by entertainment editor Peter Ford in Brisbane today. Hi, Pete. There's a massive fortune that will need to be divvied up.
Yeah, there certainly is, and it still makes me sad, this story. I think we all thought they were a couple who were just going to last the distance, and of course almost 2 years ago we got the word that they weren't, and it wasn't like there was any hope of reconciliation. It was very much, it's over. And now fast forward to today and we get the news that Deborra-Lee has now gone and filed for divorce. It happened last Friday. There was a lot to sort out. When you've got that kind of wealth that is accumulated, obviously you've got to work out who gets what, and also there's ongoing residuals. Obviously the Wolverine, X-Men, even the Greatest Showman movies will all have residuals coming in for years and years to come. So, you know, who gets those, or what share of that will Deborra-Lee get? These were things that I'm sure lawyers have been fighting about for 18 months at least, and making a lot of money out of it themselves. There's also a beautiful apartment, a $52 million apartment they bought several years ago. That's where Hugh is still living, and the belief is that his new lady, Sutton Foster, has already begun to move in there. So, yeah, it's over, and we have to accept that, and, you know, we wish them both well. They won't badmouth each other as much as good copy that would make for someone like me. If you know much about them both, they're both very classy, decent people. There's 2 kids involved and they won't do it. I do have to laugh, though. I'll tell you a quick story. Many years ago, just when Hugh was first taking off, and he really was only just becoming known, I did an interview with him, and he wanted to have a VHS copy of the interview. That's how far back we're going. And so he got my phone number. A few nights later, he rang me almost in tears because he'd lost his suit. He'd bought a suit from Tony Barlow, and he had a corporate gig, and he left it in the back of a taxi. And he wanted to go on radio on 3AW and say, if anyone's found my suit, I'll give you a reward. So we got the suit back for him. That was his only suit, and he was so worried about having the money to replace it. So times have changed.
Wow, now look at him now in a $52 million apartment. Wow. Everyone's still talking about the Emmanuel Macron slap. Today, there are wild conspiracy theories whirling around. Yeah,
well, look, you know, conspiracy theories are fun. I get a laugh out of them, but 99 times out of 100, if you seriously go and analyse it, you know, they just don't stack up. Now, of course, this was the slap, the punch, the push. We've talked about it over the last 24 hours. Everybody's got an opinion on it and what's going on. Now, there's become a kind of a breakout story with the flight attendant who you do see. People are saying, hang on, everyone's missing the real story. Why is her shoulder ripped open, and why is there blood coming out of her shoulder? Now, folks, just calm down, because it's actually a flight attendant scarf, and it's kind of like the corner of the scarf that's poking out under the high vis. So there was, see, that's you get an idea there of the scarf and the corner of it. I thought you were about to say it was AI. Someone had doctored the image. Someone's doctored it as well. You've got to be so cautious with what you see, but you can just see that, you know, the corner of the scarf. Cover that with a high vis vest, and you'd get that look, that impression. So that's why that story has become a breakout one. But there is now, of course, enormous scrutiny on this relationship, the beginnings of it, etc. And it is a very odd relationship. I mean, he was 15 when they met. She was 39, and a school teacher at his school, drama teacher. So, yeah, the beginnings of it were very odd and questionable, but President Macron clearly has kind of had enough. There's been a lot of these theories going around in recent times about him and a bag of cocaine. So he speaks here about the fact that he's just really tired of all the conspiracy stuff. Have a look.
Je vais dire une vidéo beaucoup de bêtises. Sur ces 3 vidéos, j'ai ramassé un Kleenex, serré la main à quelqu'un et juste plaisanté avec mon épouse comme on le fait assez souvent. Il y a des gens qui ont regardé des vidéos et qui pensent que j'ai partagé un sac de cocaïne, que j'ai fait un mano à mano avec un président turc et que là maintenant je suis en train d'avoir une scène de ménage avec ma femme. Rien de tout ça n'est vrai, pourtant ces 3 vidéos sont vraies. Donc il faut que tout le monde se calme et surtout s'intéresse.
So the bag of cocaine one was pretty wild. You know, people thought he was there with a bag of cocaine. It turned out to be, it was just a white tissue.
It's a tissue,
Yeah, exactly. So, I don't know, you know, these things take a life on their own. People add to it. They do AI now. You know, you've got to be so cautious with what you're seeing out there. And clearly, President Macron is getting a bit jack of the whole thing.
Yeah, I bet. Wow. All right, well, moving on. Tom Cruise has a heartfelt message for his fans.
Yeah, I thought this was very lovely. Late last night, he put out a message via his social media, which he doesn't overuse. So when he does put something out, it's really quite special. And it was very much about thanking everybody for what he says was a historic weekend at the box office just had in America. But what he does also do is thank all the employees of the cinemas. I mean, the thing with Tom, and he gets a lot of negative stuff because they say, oh, he's a control freak, which to some degree he is. But he knows what every single person does on a movie set, and he studied what they do and how important it is, even right down to cinema employees, the people actually giving you the ticket to walk through the door. And there was a photograph last week actually at one of the premieres where he'd stopped, and for 15 minutes he was just talking to all the ushers and the usherettes who were there, basically letting people in, saying, I really value your work and what you're doing. So to put out a long note like that to both the public and people in the movie business to say thank you, I think shows what a classy guy he is.
Or, Pete, is it Tom Cruise trying to control the narrative because Lilo and Stitch did better than him at the box office on the weekend?
Yeah, Pete Ford. Wrap your head around that theory.
Could be a bit of that too, but he still is a very classy guy.
No doubt about that, but it's also him getting on the front foot and getting that as the story, as opposed to... Because didn't Lilo and Stitch beat it at the box office?
They did, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So at Memorial Day weekend, which is, you know, a vital weekend for selling movie tickets,
Some mixed reviews following yesterday's AMA, the American Music Awards. J-Lo's outfits have the internet talking.
Well, they did, all 8 of them. So she was kept very busy during the course of that award show. I think 8's kind of excessive, but she wanted to get the hype going because she was actually going to announce at the very same time that she's got a residency coming up in Vegas. So how, you know, you can't get more Vegas than doing 8 costume changes during the course of a couple of hours. But yeah, the AMA Awards were, I think, quite interesting, mainly because it was Billie Eilish's night. Boy, did she own that night, you know, picking up every award that she'd been up for. It certainly was not Taylor Swift's night. I mean, she got nothing, not even the Touring Artist Award on the back of that incredible tour. It seems bizarre. You know, Chapel Roan didn't do well either. She got nothing. Oh, Chapel Roan got 1, I think. So, all in all, a lot of those people who you thought might have, you know, shared it around, no, it was Billie taking home that incredible haul.
I believe Tom Cruise was out the back thanking the wardrobe stylists for all the wardrobe changes too. So that's not confirmed though. Pete, thanks so much.
Thanks, Pete.